That's right. I know you. I'm not letting nobody sell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. That's right. And it's worth something.
This is Blackwatch with Commanding General Yohanna, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he make man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
We don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. Blackwatch. Let the show begin.
ISUPK.com is the website. We up in the building, got the heavy hitters in here with me. General Muhammad, give it up. General Mayak, give it up. Hey, if you didn't see General Mayak's show from last Wednesday, you should go watch that show. That show was rocking. You get into it, you get to the ground on the thing. You know what man? You went into, you be knowing how Esau really thinks. And how we don't think like he thinks. You know what I'm saying? You be kind of like, I be hearing the plea in your voice, like, y'all, that is not how you think it is. This is what he's doing. So it was a good show, man. Big shout out to General Mike Oliver for last week, holding it down. Hey, man, I want to give a big shout out, of course, to Captain Tazaryak and the New York Posse. Let me tell you something, man. Y'all brothers energized the whole nation with that Monday weekend. At least I was. I don't know. I guess I'm giving the whole nation there, but I was on fire after that weekend, man. It was absolutely the bomb. The brotherhood, man, the kindness, man. It was strong. What you brothers had done up there, man, and the brotherhood and the sisterhood, it was outstanding. Everybody was on their best throughout the weekend. Lord allow, wasn't too many incidents of madness, you know what I'm saying, from Satan, but it was a beautiful, beautiful weekend. The boat ride was crazy, as usual. Stuff like that always gets a little on the wild side. They got me in my Benjamite bag, had me up in there on my Benjamite bag, you know what I'm saying, going, you know what I'm saying. It was beautiful, though. The barbecue was amazing. The speaking, oh my God, y'all put it down in Times Square, man. Good night. Big shout out to everybody, man, that came in from all over the country. All the camp leaders, man. Big shout out to Yatazak. You know what I'm saying? Yatazak came all the way from Houston, other brothers all the way from far distances, man, quite a few. And held it down. Minnesota was out there holding it down. Well, so many. Oh man, my main man. It was so many. Mount Quad from Chicago. I'm thinking of Soccer War. Sock G came all the way up from Memphis, man, holding it down. There was so many brothers came in from different parts of the country, man. It was really, I enjoyed the brotherhood, man. I enjoyed, coming together with brothers and sisters, man. And so much goes on, so much conversation, so much steel sharpening steel. So many ideas, so many new things. You know what I mean? It was a good read on the whole nation. We're going to Nashville next month. That'll be up next. We'll get that in. So much on the table going on. And it is what it is. All right. So y'all ready? Let's get into it. All right. What you got for me? You die? Big shout out to Mariah Yadai and all the brothers in the house with us. Ibad, Nakar in here, all of you brothers, man. Big shout out to all of y'all. Come on with it.
Khan. Oregon wildfires triples its reaching. Oregon wildfires triples its reach in one day, burning thousands more acres and forcing evacuations.
I'm glad you brought this story up because last week we didn't get to do the stories last week on how they was denying the firefighters, did we? Okay, give us this story and then go, if you can, pull up last week's stories because I was trying to get to this other story, how they did our brothers so dirty. But let's get to this story. I want you to be able to read this story. I don't want to let the generals jump in. Morale, what I do for me? Go ahead.
Colonel Khan, sir. A southwestern Oregon wildfire burning since mid-August spread rapidly from Friday to Saturday thanks to strong winds, more than tripling its total burned acreage in one day and prompting evacuation orders, the fire officials said. The Rum Creek fire, about a 50-mile drive northwest of Medford, has burned 4,319 acres as of Saturday morning, according to InstaWeb, a clearinghouse for U.S. fire information. That's up from roughly 1,200 acres the fire had burned by Friday morning, according to CNN affiliates.
Whoa. Since yesterday morning, 1,200 acres. That's a lot of fire. All them 90-degree days we had out on the West Coast, right? All that madness. Them fires burning up that whole West Coast. And they did us so dirty with it. All the prophecies are coming to pass. I mean, the earth is rejecting this man. The very earth itself, while he's trying to go to the moon, the earth is rejecting this dude, man. You got more?
Evacuation orders were issued Friday and Saturday for a rural area in Oregon's Josephine County, including the small communities of Brand and Gillespie County, officials said. It's unsafe to stay, and it threatens the safety of you, your family, and emergency responders.
He says unsafe to stay.
Colonel Khan, emergency services personnel may not be able to help you if you choose to stay.
Wait a minute. Are we talking the same story with the fires, or did you move into another?
Colonel Khan, fires.
With the fires, he said you cannot stay.
Colonel Khan, sir.
Damn. Go ahead.
That was pretty much it on that one, sir.
Okay, go if you could give me the one, unless the generals want to jump in. Go back to the story from last week if you can find it for what they did to the brothers who were trying to get certified after they was taken out of prison, put their life on the line for white people's mansions, and tried to help these people put out all them fires. Some of them got killed putting out them fires. And as they was out there putting out them fires, of course, they gassed them up and told them, when you get out of here, we're going to have, we'll have a program for you where you will now not have to go back to prison. You'll become a certified firefighter. You'll be able to go out and really work for a fire company. And then come to find out, they didn't even do nothing for them. Is in there? Read some of that. Go ahead.
Colonel Khan, Western fires outpace California's effort to fill inmate crews.
See that? The fires outpacing their ability to fulfill the seats for the firefighters they need. And this is always the case. This man is so vicious that he'll even Salakia. Sorry, y'all. No. I got get my rock straight on this one. Okay, it's so bad that he'll let the place burn before he let the inmates be the heroes. And that's something blacks and Latinos, you better learn. Part of demoralizing you in the you got it beautiful. But part of demoralizing you in this empire, part of demoralizing you is never allowing you to be the hero. Never allowing you to be the hero of the story. And this is exactly what they did with these brothers. The place burning. Place burning right now. But they won't hire the brothers. Give me some more in the story. Let the generals jump in.
I don't want con, sir. As wildfires rage across California each year, exhausted firefighters call for reinforcements from wherever they can get them, even as far as Australia.
Good night. The place burning. They firefighters. They know what the hell is going on. They like, look, if somebody willing to come from Australia help us fight these fires, we'll take them. You got a spear chucker in the Congo that know how to put out a fire, send his spear chucking ass up here, we'll take him. But them blacks and Latinos don't bring them. Them they don't want you to bring. Give me more.
Kana Wakan, sir. Kana Wakan. Yet one homegrown resource is rarely used. Thousands of experienced firefighters.
Thousands. Is rarely used.
With experience.
You're right. Come on.
Kana Wakan, sir. Thousands of experienced firefighters who earned their chops in prison. 2 state programs designed to get more firefighters, to get more former inmate firefighters hired professionally, have barely made a dent, according to an Associated Press, with one $30 million effort.
And listen, not only did they have the firefighters, but the government gave them money to pay the firefighters. It ain't like they had to hire them in the budget. The government said, hire them and we're going to give you the money to pay for. It ain't even going to affect your fire department. And they still wouldn't put on. You saying you want to get rid of the Mexicans? Go on. Keep them up. Go ahead, good Republicans. Keep the Mexicans out the border. Watch the whole West Coast burn. Right. You done burnt up more land in the West Coast trying to keep them out instead of letting them go on and fight the fire and shut it down. That's the real racism of America. That's the deep, deep hatred. When the Lord don't lie. When the scripture said he got a perpetual hatred, that's the truth. When the scripture said the two struggle within her womb, that's true. You understand? Like that don't change. Ridiculous. Give me a little bit more if you could, please.
Kana Wakan, with one $30 million effort netting jobs for just over 100 firefighters, little more than 1/3 of the inmates enrolled.
Wait a minute. How many firefighters for how much? Did you say 30 million and they only put 100 in?
Kana Wakan.
30 million. You know how many people you could pay? How many if you just say, I'll do 100,000 a year for each firefighter. That's 10 firefighters per million, right? That means at minimal, you're supposed to have 30 more highly trained, and firefighters don't make 100,000. No. And that's just extra money. That ain't budget money. Mm-hmm. Extra money. And they still won't. They rob us blind. They keep us out of this thing, man. In every single way, they keep us out. This country, man, is so rich and so powerful that we could have went on and been and fixed our people and all that and just waited on Christ to return. Yeah, but right. This man is so cruel. He gonna make sure that you can't even fix your own.
God. I just got a question. Okay, is it one of two things or is it both? I feel like it's both. Is it that they such thieves and robbers stealing the money, really, and putting it where they want to go or whatever in their secret accounts, or is it just their hatred for us to keep us down, to really say they never help this country or never do anything, so is it one, both, or something deeper?
I'm gonna come right back to you, General. I'm gonna come right back to you. Let me hit you something. What you saying, the question you posing is so heavy in this respect. It is thievery. They want to rob, but it's so deep that anything pertaining to blacks and Latinos, thievery is just synonymous with it. It's damn near DNA. It's damn near like we got these Chinese prisoners that are trying to become firefighters. Their mind don't come to, hell no, we taking that money. But if blacks and Latinos, their mind go right to, they ain't getting that money. It's like in their DNA. So, go ahead.
No, I was going to disagree. And just to say, this is more proof that the whole capitalist ethic is destruction for blacks and Hispanics because, okay, what they're doing is good business. And that's the problem with America. The problem with America is, okay, if you don't do this, they'll call that a lack of productivity in businesses. You could hire prisoners to do it for free. And if you go pay those same former prisoners to do it, you've just lost money. And you'll get fired for doing something like that. Like some CEO will get fired. And here's the amazing circle of it to go with General Yohanna is saying. If you give former prisoners those jobs, they don't commit crime. They don't go back to jail, which means you don't get new firefighters. You have to create an environment for them to do crime. Because if they stop doing crime and start getting jobs, how will you get free labor? So really, you have to make sure that these cats do not get fireman jobs because they're the bedrock of how you fight wildfires. So imagine you be the good white man that says, take that 30 million and give all those prisoners jobs. Then there's no recidivism anymore in California because poverty is why people commit crime. So now, and this cat has sons. His sons don't commit crime because his father is a firefighter and has a home and a garage and a car, and he goes to school. And guess what you just done? You just destroyed the industry of getting prisoners to put out firefighters. It is just smarter to only let the prisoners do it, to never set the precedent that you pay people. It's the smarter capitalist thing to do. And whoever doesn't do it will be fired. Like he'll go and they'll look at his books and say, well, you had, 10,000 people doing this for free last year. You took that 30 million and gave it to them. What else could we have done with that 30 million? It would have been in the budget. That 30 million would have stayed right in that budget under some line that says, now we can use this for trips, education, research in the fire prevention, trips for all of us to go to Australia and see how they stop fires over in Australia. They could have spent it some other way. You gave it to the firemen. We could have got the prisoners to do it for free.
And if I could, they would have given the money to the Australians. Like if the Australians said, hey, we'll send y'all up to firefighters, they'd have been like, okay, we got a $30 million budget for it. Y'all come on up. You know what I mean? It would have been like no beef.
Because it don't hurt this business.
You know what I mean? It don't hurt the evil in their goddamn heart. The demon that lives inside them, it don't hurt that. Like the demon will spend the money as long as it doesn't affect the real economy of this empire, which is slavery. Like if it don't affect the economy of slavery, then no problem. Yeah. But you can't have an economy of slavery if you let blacks, like you brought out, if you let blacks and Latinos begin to get a piece of the empire that they busted behind to build. If you actually give them a fair share of the empire, they would, that'd be the end of your economic slavery. Yeah. So you'll fly the Australians in, you'll fly in any other heathen. But if these people ask for their fair share that you promised them, even though the government is paying for it, they'll still rob you. They low lives. And that's and what a lesson for blacks and Latinos to learn that you putting your hope in here is a joke. Passing laws for equality is a joke. It is ingrained in this place to enslave us at every chance they could. At every single opportunity they could. It's in their soul to do it. And they'll continue to do it until we decide we're going to be a people that does not allow them to do it. And then it's going to change. So
it always go back to that damn Christian church. You understand? Because Christians tell us, stop blaming them. They stop blaming them. Let's forget about that. Just pull up your bootstraps, get yourself together. You can get it. Go to school, do this. Like they don't realize that all of our problems come from these people. Yeah. And that's so heavy that everything just revert back to they need slaves to run this place. They ain't gonna do nothing to hurt that. It is ridiculous.
Like Muhammad said, you ain't going to prison.
God.
You ain't. Did I cut you off?
No, please.
Like you ain't going to prison. Okay. So if you ain't going to prison, they losing money.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to prison, and they got to pay you.
God.
They losing double cash.
And why train these inmates?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
like they trained the inmates in the beginning because they had no choice.
Good.
There wasn't no firefighters. So they say, yo, we got all these prisoners, they locked up. Yo, let's put them in school, train them, let them get all the training, and then they can go fight the fires and we'll get the money. So they do it. But then when the training is over, the government say, all right, we're gonna send you some money since they already certified. Y'all go ahead and hire them. We'll pay y'all to get the ball rolling. But because it's the Lord's chosen, if it was anybody else, they'd be in lawsuits, cases. It'd be the ACLU would be over there, trying to sue, and it'll cost them more to not hire them. But blacks and Latinos, they need you to go back to jail, which is why you got to separate from this damn place, man.
That's right.
Why? And when I say separate, I don't mean, become some Mooney somewhere living under a rock trying to hide. I mean, separate your soul from this place, like the Lord said. Come back to your 12 tribes of Israel and become part of your identity again. Without an identity, you ain't nothing. Matter of fact, get me the Nigerian model story next. Without your identity, you're nothing. And with your identity, boy, you have a place to start life with. You have a place to start life with. The whole reason this place can say, give me your tired, your poor, and your huddled masses is because when you give them your tired, your poor, and your huddled masses, they're going to make sure they prosper over us, the slaves. They're going to be able to come up while you go down. And the Lord prophesied it anyway in Deuteronomy and said, how's it go? The nation that is among you shall get up very high, and you shall come down very low. And that has been our life here since the day we got off of them cargo slave ships, since the day they took over the island of Puerto Rico and the Caribbean. Since the day they got here, it has been downhill ever since, and going downhill more. Yediah, after that, I want you to get me the story. I think it's in the push bullet of the 3.8 million people that are about to lose their apartments in the next 2 months. Hold it now. You about to see disaster in this country. Go ahead, give me this story right quick with the Nigerian models. I'm gonna show you how a country helps itself. Something black people don't learn, and you gonna learn because white people know this. Why are white people so they ready to burn this country down over Donald Trump? They ready to take the country down with Donald Trump because they understand their nation and identity. And we, like Gen.YAHANNA just brought out, always bringing out that damn church has you loving the very man that's wiping you out. Let me show you how some African, y'all love Africa, right? I.S.U.P.K. Let me show you how they do it. Let me show you how they doing it. Go ahead, Al. Listen, and if I could, since y'all ain't saying, big shout out to Commander General Yohana at the speaking today. I got to give my own shout out. My own team don't even put me down like y'all. How my team gonna deny me on that boot kiss, Marah? That boot, I mean it wasn't a boot kiss, but it was that. It could have been, but I ain't want to riot out there in Times Square. You understand?
All the camps, they big on boot kiss. They give boot kiss 100 boot kiss. Nobody do the boot kiss like Commander General Yohana.
You know what I'm saying?
He do the boot kiss by not doing the boot kiss.
Well, thank you, General Yohana. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't even need the boot kiss. Like I ain't need to have Mike to kiss the boot. But what was needed to be seen by black people is that these people did sell us in slavery, and they know it. Good. They know it, and you don't know it. Where was we coming from? I think we was coming down from New York. We turned on Hot 97, couple of the New York radio stations, and on Sunday, come to find out, all they playing is African music. We had to turn the damn thing off because it was like 3 black stations in New York City, and all they was playing on Sunday night is African music. It used to be they used to play reggae. But they dumped all the reggae, and now they playing all African music, and that's by design. Because the empire is pushing Africa in Hollywood, pushing Africa on the radio, pushing Africa, trying to get the economics of Africa up because they don't want the Chinese to take it over. So what do? Use you to get some money to Africa. That's how you Negroes got caught up in the whole Egyptian belief. You got caught up in that Egyptian belief back in the 70s with Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark because there was an agenda, man. There was an agenda to get you back into loving Africa because they were trying to raise the economy of Mubarak. They were trying to make Mubarak, who was the president of Egypt, they were trying to make him money so he could hold his ground in that Middle East against them different other, Muslim countries. And they had to finance him. So how did they finance him? They used you to do it. Had you all caught up in the Africa. And the same now. They pushing Africa, Africa, Africa. Meanwhile, when an African come up and deal with the Israelites, the I.S.U.P.K, then we question him with some real questions. Big shout out to Yahweh, also, man, from North Carolina, who was checking him. Laban, I think it was. Who else was it? Dawadah, big shout out to them. Dawadah was in there. They was all questioning this African, man. And when they finished questioning it, damn right. When they finished questioning this African on his own went over there and got on his knees before the men of God. And all I asked him was, I assume you here because of something you did. Something to that effect. And he said, yes. And when I asked him what he did, he said, we sold y'all into slavery, man. And you Negroes talking about we African in Africa. The Africans about to rule over you, man. The Africans about to be your landlord, your boss, your everything. They pushing you back yet under another nation because they need to make some money off you. And instead of you taking care of your own, you pushing them. That's why big shout out again to the brothers in New York for rocking out all that Latino music, man. They trying to push the Latinos damn near out of New York City, man. East Indians all up in the Bronx. That was all Latino back in the day. Now the East Indians all moving up over there, moving into them neighborhoods, man. Taking over all the bodegas, taking over the businesses, taking over everything. These heathens leave their country out and they prey on God's chosen people, man. They can't do that in a white neighborhood. Let them go down to Brooklyn and try to buy up all the stores down there in them little white Jewish areas in Brooklyn, man. They'll burn the goddamn store. I ain't telling nobody to do this. But them so-called Jews are not letting you go in there and rent and buy the real estate in their neighborhoods, man. And be sitting up there selling them, whatever it is them East Indians be selling. You ain't going to be out there doing that. They'll shut you down in a minute. But for the 12 tribes, they make sure because you don't have an identity and you're not unified under your nationality, all the nations can come in here and pour their philosophy and most importantly, have you serving their gods. Give it 10 years and young Latino girls will be serving whatever them gods they got over there in India. Them little statues and all that, they'll be worshiping all that garbage over there, man. So that African, this is what an African should be doing. What this African did, put that picture back up if you could, Mariah. Oh, it's still up there, Salaki. What that African is doing right there is what an African should be doing for the crimes against us. Not pretending like he one of us so that he can get in good with us to make money off of us, to prosper over us, to get us worshiping African gods. Ton of you black people is into voodoo from trying to learn Africa. Ton of you. Crystals and Buddha, and Africa and Chango and all that stuff. You Latino tribes too. Y'all caught up into all of that, trying to be somebody you not, trying to be a nation that you're not. That is what happens when the Africans get confronted with the truth about what has happened to us, man. That's how you deal with that. Read me this Nigerian story, y'all. Unless y'all want to jump in. It's lucky. Go ahead, Al.
Connor, one con, sir. White models are foreign to Nigeria. They are actually banned. Nigerian becomes first country to ban foreign models in TV ads.
Go ahead.
Connor Wakan, sir. Nigeria plans to stop using foreign models and voiceover talent for its commercials, for its reports show. The move is in line with the country's federal government policy to develop native talent and promote economic growth within Nigeria.
You hear that? You hear that? It says it's part of their law to make sure the talent in Nigeria comes up. They don't want them Nigerian men looking at no white girl talking about, oh, beautiful. I want some of that. They ain't going for that. They gonna wait and make sure they get Nigerian models for their Nigerian men. Where did that work at? And they watched it. Remember, all nations got consulates in the United States. They all watching how the United States operates so they can mimic it, so they can prosper as well. And they watch you on your football teams and your baseball teams and your basketball teams and you actors and you wealthy executives run out and chase down every white girl you could get your hands on. And they say, oh, not for Africa. No. Africa, Nigeria, we want Nigerian woman, Nigerian man. We don't want white woman.
So far, they don't even want the voiceovers. They don't want the voice of white women.
No,
because that put out a vibe too.
That's in the article. Oh, you got to read that. You just said it. I missed it. So go ahead. No, go ahead. Say what you was going to say.
Oh, what I was going to say, sir, was something that was heavy to transition to the VMAs. And it was something small that went over in the BET Awards just a couple months ago. And officer in the car can back me up on this. There's this Nigerian singer named Tims.
That's how they are.
Tims. And guess what? They said this, you know what I mean, at the BET Awards, and they might have did it at the VMAs. They said she is the first African, the first Nigerian woman to win an award at the BET Awards. So it should tell you that there's a difference between the so-called black singers that we got over here in America and the West Indian Islands and in Haiti, but they made sure that kept saying that she's Nigerian. She's from Nigeria. She's from Africa. So,
and that bone eater got up at the awards and was giving little girls advice. Little black girl, if you are a little black girl, you can be like me. You can be superstar. Some old African nonsense. I'm like, well, goddamn. Now the bone eater is going to teach us how to be, successful in life.
And they look at him with such esteem. Soon as she come out, she get an award. Like it's our daughters on Loving Hip Hop, trying to get there on Loving, doing all type of reality, to get their music out, trying to get there. But this bone eater make a song, get the one hit, and she on the damn awards.
And that means, real quick, and that means young black girls are going to try to make African songs to get successful. Sorry, go ahead, Gino.
So I was going to just back it up in that. I don't know if people out there, I know when people hear you speak, I don't know if they think it's religion, like your opinion, or if they know this is real. Like it's not like because the UPK knows God, we know what white people are doing. This is on purpose. It's not like by accident. These Nigerians are cutting, they don't even want white people to voice over on their TV.
Damn.
They don't want white faces. Now, here's my only question to everybody listening. How do they know that having white voices and having white faces is detrimental to Nigeria? There's only one way they could know, Mayak, right? God. Because all of them sit and study the black problem, the black psychosis, the problem with how we look at ourselves, how we treat each other, the problem with black society, our self-hatred. Yeah. Otherwise, why would they even think it's a problem? God. Why is there a problem to have a white voice, to have a white face? Isn't that inclusive? That's the word I grew up with. Isn't that all inclusive? Isn't that diversity? Right. I thought that was the best goddamn thing since the Lord is to be diverse and inclusive. Why do Nigerians think it's a bad thing? Because all of them sit and study your crime rates, psychology. They all know what will happen. They know what will happen if you give prisoners jobs, Mayak. They're sitting studying it. Yeah. And research. They know what will happen. If you hear a white voice, they know you're going to blonde your hair and blue your eyes, and you will have only interracial marriage. You will lose your culture. Now, how would they know that if not for looking at you and not wanting to make your same mistake?
God, and slocky. And so imagine how they looking at us. All the other nations look at us and put their hands on their head and say, what the F is black people's problem? and then they go look into it like the general brought out, and they see your psychosis. White people is your problem. White people.
According to Nigeria.
You know what I mean? God.
That's all I can say. According to them.
God.
Slogging, so if I could, I was bringing this out at camp one time. I said, you know what? The problem with black people is, you know how the oppressors say, I got black friends. The problem with black people is we got white friends. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Like, we can't get over what happened to us because we got to be friends with the oppressor. I seen a video, a brother, he knocked out this oppressor, but all his friends that was around him was oppressors.
Damn.
So it was like,
that was probably the only reason he had permission to knock out one of their own, because he's beloved by them.
Count on one con, sir.
Ridiculous, man. And listen, and that's, you know, Nigeria is serious. You not gonna go to Nigeria and see a white girl in a lotion commercial. You not going over there to see a white girl in a makeup commercial. They not having it. You got more on the story?
Oh, Conor Wakan, it says Nigeria plans to stop using foreign models and voiceover talent for its commercials. It says, according to Steve Bobaku, president of the Association of the Advertising Agencies of Nigeria, about half the models and voiceover artists in Nigeria commercials were British natives decades ago.
Damn. White girls were the models. White girls were what they saw. And they saw they had to correct it by getting the whitey out. And that's what's got to happen in the black community. The black and Latino community got to, you're going to have to fix yourself by getting Esau out your life. Like the, go ahead.
The story you read last week, was it a college or something, a campus? Said white people ain't even allowed here no more. That's the start. That's the start on the right thinking. You got to be, you bring your white friend, we read, because they got to be vetted,
right,
and follow
while on the property. And listen, that ain't nothing new, because they've been doing it in white fraternities for the longest. The whole point of white fraternities was to keep us out. And that's why you got black fraternity. You got black fraternities because the white fraternities wasn't taking you. So you had to come up with a black fraternity. And now watch, after a while, you're going to go into the white fraternities and they're going to do all kind of horrible things to you in the white fraternity. By the time you graduate from college, you won't no longer be a man or woman. You won't know what the hell you are. You understand? By following the madness that they've been putting up. This is a common theme when it comes to harming us and ours. A common theme. You got more? Let's ride on. What else we dealing with? What you holding next? What you holding? Yes, let's go there. That's in the push bullet, right? Check this out, y'all. Listen. Once again, Esau is not taking the loss. You taking the loss. Esau let everybody chill on them rents. And now he get ready to throw them in the streets. And Joe Biden said something too, man, that was pretty strong. When they came up against Joe Biden and said that them student loans that he was forgiving was a handout, Joe Biden said, what did you think about all the millions of dollars that these big corporations got when they got those PPP loans dismissed? It was silence.
Yeah, it was.
It was silence. He cut the hell out of his own Edomite brothers by saying, you don't want me to give these Negroes and Latinos $10,000 off of their student loan. But meanwhile, you got forgiven billions in PPP loans. Ain't nobody come after that money, which is just, and listen, and it cut them so bad because it's exactly like how an Edomite thinks. An Edomite thinks anything he gives the blacks and Latinos is a handout, but he can get millions for himself, and he thinks of it like good business practice to keep businesses going. That's why you got to turn to Yahushua. That's why you got to focus on Yahushua's kingdom, because this man will never have a conscience for you. You can hand him billions. His company get delivered through the pandemic, PPP loans, billions in his pocket, and turn right around and they say, okay, we're going to give the slaves $10,000 off of their college tuition. Whoa, 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 whoa. How the hell you gonna give them? That's a handout. Meanwhile, he got the billions right here. But his mind don't connect the two together. His mind don't put the two together, man. You understand? That's why the Lord called him a cruel people. You understand? Give me the one where it says he shall not regard the old or the young. Deuteronomy. Give it to me.
Khan, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 50.
Go ahead.
A nation of fierce countenance.
A nation of fierce countenance, man. Meaning they got a real warlike face. This is a real nation of killers, man. Yeah. A real nation of warmongers. Go ahead.
Khan, sir, which shall not regard the person of the old.
Meaning an old person ain't a threat. An old person ain't somebody you got to kill. But this man, he ain't going to regard that. He'll go kill him anyway. He ain't going to say, listen, there's old people over there. Let's don't harm. No. He'll kill him anyway. Go ahead. While making you out to be the criminal. Come on.
Khan, sir. Nor show favor to the young.
Neither is he going to give it. Those are teenagers, man. You see the cops do it all the time. Beating the hell out of black kids, man. 12, 13 years old. Terrorizing them. Venting all his anger and hatred on them. Beating and brutalizing them from young ages. This don't happen to nobody else. You telling me East Indians don't never run the light? Arabs don't never run the light? Africans don't never run the stop sign? This don't never happen to nobody else. Nobody else violates the law in their vehicle. You telling me the Arabs never drive without a seatbelt? Give me a damn break. But that demon of evil against the Lord's chosen is always on them to do harm to us. So he will not regard the person of the old or show favor to the young. Go ahead, finish it real quick. Go back to the story.
Khan, sir. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land.
You hear that? And they say the fruit of it, meaning this is supposed to be your money, like them firefighters. This is supposed to be your money. But he'll go eat what's supposed to be yours. He'll eat what's yours for himself. And that's exactly what Biden was checking them on. Like, oh, y'all mad at this 10,000 I'm giving to the poor? Not that Biden is anybody, but you get my point. Okay. He was able to show how hypocritical they were. Go ahead,
Khan. Until thou be destroyed.
Until you be destroyed. He'll do it and do it and do it. Like they got billions. And they still want to destroy you under some $10,000 student forgiveness loan. While they getting billions. And they said, listen, white rich Republicans made more money under Obama than under Trump. They made more money under Obama than they did under Trump. And they was cursing Obama the hell out for being in that White House because he was a Hamite. Which is just how they are. Go ahead, that's it on that. Let's move on. Where are we going next?
Khan, Census Bureau, 3.8 million renters will likely be evicted in the next 2 months.
3.8 million going to be likely evicted in the next 2 months. Like you in hell. Give me some more.
Khan, sir.
It's bad.
For the first time ever, the median rent in the United States topped $2,000 a month.
That means the average rent that went through the damn roof. They cannot get enough of robbing you. They can't never say, listen, they are definitely the children of the British. Because that's exactly what the British did to the colonies that was over here. They starved it and starved it and starved it and starved it till the people went crazy. And that's what the hell is happening right now. That's why they ran up in that Capitol on January 6th. Because they feeling the squeeze until they losing their damn mind. And what's so evil about it is, as they starve the other Edomites out, they making it out like they doing it for us. Well, you got to have equality for blacks and Latinos. We have to give them jobs. We got to share the wealth. We got to change the tax laws so that they can have a people. We got to redistrict. Meanwhile, they're not doing it for us. They doing it for the rich corporations that they work for. But they're going to put the blame on the Lord's chosen people like you getting the break. When you struggling day and night to survive and to function, y'all cut in anytime y'all get ready. Like you the one doing all this labor while they getting rich, but acting like you can't be evil to black people. And now they really doubling down with it with the LGBTQ community. Now, if you black and gay, sure, you are a protected species in America. You like a protected. It's like give me one of them animals that's almost extinct that you can't go nowhere near. Go ahead, white tiger.
There you go. The black rhino.
Right. You go near one of them, brother, or a bald eagle.
There you go. Condor.
You kill a bald eagle, brother. They're gonna put you under the jail. Meanwhile, that's how it is now. If you one of them black LGBTQs, you like an endangered species, because of course they need to use you to push the agenda that they have, which is so evil, and it's gonna bring this whole empire to the ground. The empire is swirling, and it's gonna go down. And without us completely coming together in the spirit of the Lord to stand up with Yahushua, man, the entire nation of Israel will fall. Every last tribe. Every last tribe. And listen, and the Lord will let it happen if we don't obey him. We don't return to the Lord. He said, I'm gonna see what your end shall be. He's gonna let you go right wherever the hell this empire goes if you don't follow what he said to do and start to wake up and open your eyes and see that this place is not what you've been thinking it's been. Let's keep going. Yeah, you got more in there? On that, there's plenty more in that story.
Colonel Wakan, sir. And the increases show no sign of stopping.
Meaning they're going to even go higher on these rents. They're going to go higher on the rents. Go ahead.
Colonel Wakan, those rising rents mean that households representing a total of 8.5 million people were behind on their rent at the end of August.
At the end of August, meaning the pandemic was over. So they cut off the money. So you didn't get back to work fast enough and get that rent money up. You started falling behind, especially if you ain't been used to paying rent because you've been under the, getting them loans and that money. Now, like any evil man, he wanted to make sure his kingdom was secure. Got him some vaccines, gave everybody a vaccine, got them all straightened out. And what did he do then? All right, let's go back and get all that money back. Everything we lost, we coming to get it now. It ain't just the rents. They're going to steal their houses. They're going to rob blind. I heard recently that some company filed to confiscate items out of somebody's house because they were behind on credit card debt. They filed it. So in a minute, you better be cool, man. You better serve the Most High. I'm telling you. You don't get with the Lord. You sit up there singing in that church, them suits going back. Macy's. Reverend, we need them suits.
or them big TVs everybody got for them video games.
Yeah.
Them TVs in these houses, Gen.YAHANNA. I go, God damn.
Yeah.
The TV big as the house.
Yeah. Damn. You gonna be in there. What's going on?
Oh, Lord. You're going to take the game and the TV.
Yeah. And you know what's going to happen? A few black women going to get mad, curse them out. It's going to make the news. And then it'll be no knock warrants for the TV. It'll be before a judge. Well, why did you shoot Mrs. Brown in her living room? Your Honor, we had a no-knock warrant to collect the 70-inch TV. We was just doing our job. Okay? That's what it'll be next. Like, this is monsters, man. There's a special demon of, and this is why, let me explain to you, man. This is why, understand the Bible. The Bible so clearly shows us why the worst thing that could ever happen to you is that your people fall into slavery. And once again, it also shows us that the Lord loved us so much that he made sure that he gave us every law, every commandment, and multiple examples of why the worst thing you could do is give up the Most High, his laws, and your nation. You do that, you're going to go into slavery, brother, and you may not make it out. You're going to go into that captivity, and you may not make it out. The worst thing that happened to your people is what has happened to us in this empire, which is to be put in slavery, lose your identity, have no way back out. You're going to be destroyed. Can I get a scripture on this, y'all? Let me get a scripture on this real quick, because that's the worst thing that could happen. And people, y'all need to stop blaming the white man. Y'all need to start. Please, we're going to keep talking about this because this is the most important thing in your life. The most important thing in your life is, are you ruled by another nation? Is there another nation ruling over you? And if it's true that another nation is, you are in the worst possible scenario that any people could be in the earth. Give me the poorest country in the earth. They say it's Bangladesh or one of them places where they bathing in the dirty water. Yeah. They better off than you, because at least in their country, they decide what they're going to do for and with their country. You don't have that luxury. You got to be a slave, and they'll decide what's going to happen with you. They're going to decide what TV programs you watch, what movies you watch, what music you listen to. They're going to decide that, and they do decide it right now. You listening to rap and gangster rap because that's what they decided, which is why what the brothers do is so amazing. Big shout out to Captain Ty Ward. Big shout out to Captain McCall. Too much of that liquor over the weekend. Big shout out to Daniel Quarak out in the West Coast. All the brothers. What's the brother from down south? Albana. Big shout out to him. Captain Carter's. You got the car right in here. One of the rappers right up in here. Big shout out to the car. Big shout out to Knock. Big shout out to Knock. I think I heard a couple of y'all on them. Or a couple of them tracks, right? I think it's like a rite of passage in it. I heard Ariel on there, but Ariel on one of them tracks.
And the brother in Dallas, I forget his name. I just want to ball. I forget the name.
Oh yeah, I.S.U.P.K out there in Dallas. Yup. Big shout out to Captain Katazar throwing it down. Y'all gonna impress me when you get General Mayak on the track. Y'all get General Mayak on the track. I'm going to the Treasury looking for a budget. Y'all gotta put some money behind this. Y'all gotta get some cash.
Maradin hit me. Maradin gave me the call.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna impress me then. Like, that's why the brothers, you think we just rapping to just be rapping? Like, what them brothers is doing is washing off slavery off of you in that music. Putting your mind in the right place that it should be with that music, man. And that's a beautiful, righteous thing to do. How another nation gonna decide what the hell your music is? You understand? They took over BET, like I always talk about, and they start putting nothing but hoes and bitches videos on BET round the clock. Yeah. It got so good to them, they started doing it on MTV also. Deciding what we gonna think and how we gonna act. Them Nigerians ain't doing that. Ain't nobody decide. In America, you can't say we don't want no more white people on ads where there's black TV shows. Yeah, go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it. Go ahead and say you don't want no more white people in commercials where it's a black movie or a black TV show or black podcast. They'll laugh you out of their damn office. Go ahead,
If I may, General, what you bringing out is just so heavy, and it just take me back to Deion Sanders. He got one recruit.
Come on.
Out of 500, and the entire NCAA had to have a counsel.
So death threats.
Death threats. Yeah. Death threats. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What you saying is right. Like, come on. You ain't deciding anything. You ain't even deciding what's in your mind, which is, once again, y'all think I be playing when I be talking up this Bible out. I'm not playing to y'all out there. Not in here, y'all out there. I'm not playing. The Bible is the only record on the planet that gives you a view of an alternative world. The world you was in before you got into slavery, the Most High love us on a level we haven't even begun to understand. We haven't even begun to understand the love the Most High got for us. That Bible exists because we have to be able to read it, see it, understand it, and break our mind out of slavery, man. I'm going to find this video. There's a video out. Boy, if I find this video, I'm going to post it, a link to it. There's a video out about the Truman Show. Y'all familiar with the Truman Show? That TV show? I mean, that movie was a movie. If you're young, you may not be that familiar with it. But there's a movie that they made called The Truman Show. And The Truman Show was how they took this Edomite as a baby and made a giant studio and put him in it like it was his world. He grew up in it. He lived in it. Everybody in the whole thing were actors. So he thought he was living a regular life, but he was really an actor in this studio. And millions of people watched him every night, watched his life, watched him go through tragedies, meet a girl. And meanwhile, they were all actors and actresses. One day, Truman wakes the hell up and he started realizing something ain't right. So this is like a fake world. And he rebels till finally he breaks out of the damn studio. And listen, the psychologist, that's why I want to get this particular video. The psychologist said, that's the world they created for us. And I said, what? And then I realized, they right. The world we live in is a world that they created for us through the TV set. We wearing what they want us to wear. We acting like they want us to act. We dressing like they want us to dress. We getting high the way they want us to get high. And that's why we need the Bible. That's why the Bible got to be gold for us. You understand? Because the Bible shows us what it was. And more important even than what it was, the Bible shows us how the Lord feels about each bit of it. Because if you try to think of the Lord the way we think before you understand the Bible, you're going to be confused. That's why most people don't read the Bible and say they don't understand it. It's not that you don't understand the old English. You don't understand a world that ain't the one you've been brainwashed to be in. You don't understand that world. And that's why the Lord sent you prophets. So you can open up the Bible and he can show you what happened. Yeah, that's the actual movie. But I want to get the tape with the commentary of the movie. That's the actual movie. See, like he's living a life, but all those people around him are actors. And he's just in the thing, blind, don't know the difference. That's black people. That's black people, Latino people. You living a life, you think you live in thug life. Or you live in whatever life when they created that life for us, man. And the scriptures is what get us out of it. Can I get one on you? Give me Second Ezra in the pocket for 15 and 18. Second Ezra, 15 and 18. 18 and 19 real quick. And that's why it was such a good tape. Because we live in a world out there. They design even all that talk about prison pipeline. All that's created for us, man. And that's why, oh man, how could I forget? Big shout out to General Kwabala Mafa for bringing out that heavy ass book about what went on in New York City, man. I mean, he brought out every single point of what was happening to us in New York City hundreds of years ago. And those same things are happening to us today in New York City, only they just altered the laws a little bit so that the wording is different. But the same oppression, same racism, the same slave mentality, the same thing still going on today. And here's what's amazing. You couldn't sell peaches on Broadway in the 1730s. But the white people who could sell peaches in the 30s owned skyscrapers with 20-foot high billboards on Broadway. Remember, them same people who were merchants on Broadway in the 1700s are the same people that own the real estate that have the skyscrapers on. So all that Times Square wealth and power They got that because they stopped us from getting a piece of the money. They stopped us from living and taking care of our children, which is exactly what they do today, which is exactly why they're complaining all the time about what it is that we get. And that's why they always treating us like we getting a handout. It is an evil, evil thing being done to the Lord's chosen people here. You know what I mean? Like Christ put it so right when he said, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. It is violence, physical violence, but there's a whole lot of other psychological violence, man, that's also going on in this kingdom. And that's why we're to return to our identity. We don't need nobody else's religion. We're going to find out who we are. And that's where we're going to build from. Come on with it, Salah. Yes.
Kalawakan, 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 18. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled.
You see that? The cities is troubled now. 3.8 million about to lose their apartments. Go ahead.
Kalawakan, the houses shall be destroyed.
The houses are being destroyed now. You're going to be able to buy a living room set for $5 in about 2 seconds. Because they're going to be living room sets all over the damn country. Because they're going to put people's stuff out in the street. You're going to take losses. This is evil, Locke. This is a wicked, evil, the richest country in the world also. Keep that in the back of your mind. They just sent billions over there to the Ukraine. You understand? Serve the Most High. Go ahead,
Kalawakan, sir. And men shall be afraid.
Men shall be afraid. They're going to be afraid because of how horrible the world going to get. And it's already getting. You can't walk at night in most of these cities. Go ahead.
Kalawakan, sir. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor.
Right. What makes a man not have pity on his neighbor? Oppression. Oppression. If you hungry, it's hard for you to care about the fact that I'm hungry. Because you hungry. Your stomach is growling. But when I come to you and say, man, I'm hungry, man, can you help me out? You like, nigga, I'm hungry too. That's in your carnality. In the UPK, you're going to do like Christ did. You're going to say, brother, I'm going to starve, but you're going to eat. Right. That's how you're going to do it in here. You understand? And the reason, and once again, Christ, the Most High, the Bible, Yahawashi knew exactly what the hell we needed. We need that. Because otherwise, guess what? The two of you going to kill each other over the scrap of food. But with the Lord, you're going to split that scrap of food, and both of you going to live for another day.
That's right.
Because of that spirit of the Lord and that brotherhood and that righteousness, man. And that's why Christ died, for us to get through this time. Come on, give me more, you die.
Kalawakan, sir. But shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread.
You hear that? Because of the lack of bread. And that lack of bread comes when another nation starves you to death. Like Titus, the Roman general, did when he surrounded Jerusalem and starved Jerusalem to death. To where black people was eating their own children, man, for the suffering of that the Romans did to us. Give them a chance, and they're going to do the same thing to us again. And those of us that's ignorant as hell, that you 2 seconds off of fighting another brother, you're going to be the worst of all. Those of you that's quick to anger, to harm another brother, but just a good little Negro, when it comes to the white man, you're going to be the worst of all. And the absolute worst of all are going to be you Christians in the church. Because you Christians in the church are going to take whatever trinket your master gives you to harm and destroy your people who are trying to survive. So your people that's trying to survive, you will turn on them in a second and hate them like they directly from Satan. And you won't care what happens to them. Just like that scripture said. You won't have a conscience of what happens to them. You got to change your life, man. Change your spirit. Get back to this book. Come on, y'all. Give me a little bit more. You finished that? A little bit more, sir. Go ahead.
And for great tribulation.
The Lord said he's going to bring great tribulation, man, on this place. Great tribulation. And look, we're looking forward to it. Because that great tribulation means that Christ is going to return very shortly. That great tribulation means that this empire is going to come to an end real soon. Nuclear war, I can guarantee you, is going to happen. They up there shooting there to Ukraine now. You got that story? Where's that story where they up there? We done on this story? We finished. It was more on it. Okay, let's go on to the Ukraine if y'all don't mind. Y'all jump in if you need to. Let's go to the Ukraine. They up there shooting there to Ukraine right now, trying to hold on to that nuclear site.
Kanawakan. Russia, Ukraine trade claims of nuclear plant attacks.
Go ahead.
Russia and Ukraine traded claims of rocket and artillery strikes at or near Europe's largest nuclear power plant on Sunday, intensifying fears that the fighting could cause a massive radiation leak.
Could cause a massive radiation leak. We have a mess on our hands, man. All it takes is one. One of them joints break down and melt down, and that's pretty close to Europe. That's pretty damn close to Europe. One of them joints get messed with, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem. Go ahead.
Kanawa Khan, sir. Ukraine's Atomic Energy Agency painted an ominous picture of the threat Sunday by issuing a map forecasting where radiation could spread from the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which Russia forces have controlled since soon after the war began.
Dang. Russia took it over. Now they fighting to get it back. Both sides claiming that it's the other side. I mean, and it's inevitable in war. In war, you can't predict what will happen. You out there in the middle of that battle, all kinds of people out there with their own agenda. You know what I'm saying? You don't know who's out there. They got all kinds of mercenaries up in there. You don't know who's fighting who, what's going on. Anything can go down out there. Go ahead, Salaki. Y'all jump in anytime.
Kanawa Khan. Attacks were reported over the weekend, not only in Russia-controlled territory adjacent to the plant along the left bank of the Dnieper River, but along the Ukraine-controlled right bank, included the cities of Nikopol and Marnets, each about 10 kilometers, 6 miles from the facility. Russian Defense Minister spokesman Igor Kalishnikov said Sunday that the Ukrainian forces had attacked the plant twice over the past day. And that
they want, both sides want that nuclear plant. They want that plant. They want that energy and whatever else they got hidden underground, up under them tunnels and all that. Probably got all kind of weapons up in there.
And if they can't have it, they don't want the other one to have it.
Right.
So they got to blow it up.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, they in a mess. You know what I mean? They in a daggone mess. Go ahead,
Kanawa Khan, sir. And that the shells fell near to the building storing reactor fuel and radioactive waste.
They got waste and fuel and all them good things that's needed in the whole damn world. You got all the good toys that's going to end the world over this wheat in Ukraine. You got more?
It says one projectile fell in the area of the 6th power unit and the other 5 in front of the 6th unit prompting station. It's like it. The pumping station, which provide cooling for this reactor, Kalishnikov said, adding that the radiation levels were normal.
So far. So they say. Who the hell knows? It's probably a big-ass cloud heading over there to Finland and Switzerland and Belarus and whatever the hell else is over there. Who knows? Go ahead. Okay, so once again, nuclear war is going to happen. And this ain't the first skirmish they had like this. They had it at Chernobyl too. Yeah. Remember, they called out and said, man, stop shooting at the reactors over there at Chernobyl. They was calling to the Russians, y'all stop shooting at the reactor. The Russians kept shooting. They finally said, damn it, we out. They left, gave it damn thing to the Russians. Right. Russians took the damn thing over. Now they got the Chernobyl. Yeah. It's a lot of power they handling over there. And anything can go wrong. God. You know what I mean?
It's so delicate, like you just said. You need a whole cooling system.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they ain't got to hit the actual thing. They mess up these controls and what the cooling and the air conditioning.
Them pumps and all that.
Heated up is over.
It's all over. And I could be wrong, but isn't this the first time they're having a full-out war in a nuclear power, in a nuclear country, or no? I don't have no recent memory of them actually fighting. You do?
You saying like a full-out war with a nuclear power?
Yeah.
Around nuclear, reactors?
A full-out war with a country that has nuclear power.
Colin Wakan, this may be the first time. I don't think the U.S. has ever come close to that, or anybody's ever attacked the U.S.
I don't recall that.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time they out and out having a full-out war in a country that has nuclear power. I never remember no report where they firing rockets and RPGs and stuff in a country that got nuclear reactors. This is the first. You know what I'm saying? I believe. I could be wrong.
I think that goes to why they were saying in the beginning of the war, this isn't one of those countries that you're used to seeing this at.
Right.
This is in a Europeanized, civilized country.
Right.
That have nuclear power plants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a jam up. And is there more power plants? And if the Ukrainians get backed up against the wall, what's his name over there, that president? Zelensky, is he going to hit the button? That's a rough one, man. This is the first, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time a nuclear power is under full-fledged attack from another country, shooting at them nuclear plants and all that. This could get bad if not for the Most High. The Most High could call the shot. And listen, and it coincides exactly with the biblical scripture in that they just launched to set up and live on the moon. That new rocket that got delayed, I heard that rocket took off. And not only did that rocket take off, but they said they were going to the moon to live on the moon to try to launch themselves to Mars. That's right. And the Lord said, y'all know Obadiah.
From thence shall I bring thee
That's
down.
right. When I set thy nest among the stars, thence shall I bring thee down. So while they going up there trying to set up a moon pod, somebody down here trying to blow up a nuclear pod. And it's a mess on this planet. And listen, and I love to talk about it, and I'll tell you why. Because years ago, the Lord made all the prophets listen to him and obey him and follow what he said. And we did. And now we see why the Lord said to do it. Because here we are, coming to all kinds of disaster on this earth to bring in Yahushai's kingdom. The black man by the name of Yahushai shall rule this empire and every empire on earth. And there's nobody that can stop him. That's right. Let's get it in. You got more? That was all right. Speaking of which, give me one more push bullet. Give me the EBT cards. Did y'all hear about that? They pulled the plug on them EBT cards. You know what I'm saying? They said, boop. They did temporary, like a test. Like a test. We acting like we Billy Badass. All they got to do is go right down there to Liberty Street to Merrill Lynch. Go up to the 40th floor in Merrill Lynch and press a button. And that's the end of EBT forever.
It's the second time they did something like that.
Yes, they did it before. Where they just shut it down. That SNAP EBT. And this time they did it across the country. They did it in a small area before. Go ahead, I.
Kind of I made, I slave in like supermarkets, sir. Like I managed the back room. In Israel, I thought they was going to riot, sir. Esau was saying EBT is down. They're going to be down for 6 hours. They was coming in the back room, General. I said, his office is over there.
Listen, I don't know about nothing.
To the left. That's all. You was directing traffic. Like, y'all know, Whitey is over here. Okay? Like, that's 6 hours. Let them pull the plug on EBT for 24, 48 hours. Let them do it for 48 hours. And listen, do you think they won't? Do you think that it's an impossibility that they would do it? Well, let me get you a scripture now. You think it's an impossibility? It's been done so many times in the past. Read the story. I don't want to jump the story. Read the story, and then I'm gonna pull a couple scriptures if it's all right with y'all on it. Because that could easily happen.
Honorable Khan, sir. SNAP and EBT outages surge across the country.
Go ahead.
The Supplemental Nutrition and Assistance Program, SNAP, used to help families experiencing food insecurity, is reportedly experiencing outages across the country. According to Dawn Detector, a website used to track when logins, apps, or websites are down, reported nearly 5,000 outages across the country Sunday evening.
They show you how they treat you like a real Negro. If that had been any other system, it would have been on the news, and spokesmen would have been on the news explaining what the hell happened. They shut it off and they ain't say nothing. Didn't, we just cut you Negroes off. And you can best believe them Republicans want to do it bad. Go ahead, Art. Probably plenty of Democrats too.
News Channel 2 received calls from users that also experiencing difficulties using an electronic bank transfer, EBT, to purchase food. As of the broadcast time, outages have declined, but no information has been released on why the outage occurred.
No information. No information. They ain't even telling you why. Let me tell you something. This is how you really know you're a slave. Because once again, free people grow their own food.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be able to have your own food in the backyard. Cattle, vegetables, all your stuff. Damn near all these plagues that we getting in this empire right now come from bad management of food.
Yeah.
Coronavirus, monkeypox, all this is bad management. Bad managements of foods. Bad managements of how food gets transported to the people. Yeah. And of course, in the cities, the food, they control all the food outside the city.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So if they control the food outside the city, they cut off the EBT. You ain't nothing you can do. You're getting the last you can get out the supermarket, and you're going to starve until they decide to bring whatever and that's by design. So they decide to bring whatever they decide to bring into the city.
If I could, this is once again, like you said, it's by design. And you said something a while ago about preparing your household and getting it right in case this happens. They also designed too, sir, where they got women out here where they now worried about out here hoeing and twerking, but can't cook in the kitchen. Can't really survive on making food to it. They go buy things now in the supermarket that's fast food. Throw it in the microwave. They really can't cook like how they need to. All that's by design, man. Most young kids nowadays, young sisters, don't know how to cook.
Wow.
You gotta know how to cook, clean the house, and all that stuff there. So now they all depend on SNAP. And when they use SNAP, they go get all fast food products. They just throw in the microwave. Or throw in the oven real fast, man. It gotta get back to the point to where a sister and some young brothers need to learn how to cook as well too, but know how to take care of your crib the right way, man. How to cook in the house. You're gonna need that surviving. Because right now, if you go stock up on meats, you got meat in the freezer, you got to cook that meat.
Yeah.
Thawed out, clean it the whole nine. You need that, man. And Commander GEN.YAHANNA told y'all a while ago, prepare. These things going to happen. He started giving you warning signs to show you these things are coming. You better stock them freezers up. Right. You know what I mean? Something to happen, baby. You ain't got to worry about going outside. You got it in your house. You better. Because that time is coming to the slaughter.
You're right. 6 hours and they was in a panic. We got proof right there. The man was right there seeing it happen. Your diet was right there seeing them trip. And it had only been 6 hours, which means ain't nothing at the house. Yep. You know what I mean? But the faucet.
This weekend, John, I heard of Eve talking about the EBT, like she about to get some big money.
Right.
She said it and was in a vibe like, woohoo, like this is the new drug. She said, I'm about to get my, I think it's 1,300 or something. And it was like a, yoo-hoo. And I need this. So I know, just off that vibe, they stop this thing, they losing it.
They be running tests like, let's see what happens. Boop. Yep. All right, everything's fine. Turn it right back the hell on for a second. But brother, it go down one time and don't come back up. That's gonna be hell on wheels.
And General, it ain't far fetched. Like since the Lord hit this earth with what's this? The coronavirus ain't nothing been the same, General.
You right.
The Lord had the coronavirus hit here, so ain't nothing been the same.
That coronavirus came through here, brother. Did a number. And brother, that monkeypox. I'm gonna tell you what's scary about that monkeypox is that the children getting it.
Oh wow.
Like if coronavirus, the kids didn't really get it. Their immune systems kicked it off. But that monkeypox is gonna get very frightening. And you may not. This may be the end of grammar school. Grammar school might be over when this thing busts all the way out. We're gonna come to them next, but give me more. You got more on the EBT card? Please go on. And then I'm gonna pull a scripture, and then we go into the monkeypox.
If I can,
come on, Jim.
Just off of Haas made me think of something. Like he said, that coronavirus jammed up everything. Even because I'm a nectarine man when it comes to fruit. And nectarines, they get to a certain point where they got a smell. You can smell that nectar, and they sweet as it can be. You know what I'm saying? And so this is about 5-6 years now. I know the season start in May. They start having them in the market, but since coronavirus, none of them have tasted like that.
Damn.
Nowhere.
That's because they probably getting them from West Bumham. Like where they was getting them from, they ain't getting it from there no more. They got it now. Go get it, and they done put Issachar out. You know what I mean? Once you put Issachar out, that was it. You know what I mean? Fruits and vegetables. I mean, I'm on my way home about a month ago, and I see a little farmer's market, and I said, you know what? Maybe I should dip in there because I know I wanted to get a couple heads of lettuce or something. So I said, let me dip in there. I dip into the farmer's market, and I go to the girl, say, let me get some of them lettuce. I grab a couple bags of lettuce, took them home. I opened up the bag of lettuce, and I smelled it. It was like the smell was so healthy and rich. I pulled the lettuce. I started looking at the lettuce like, what the hell? I mean, it was beautiful. Way better than anything I buy in the supermarket. I'm looking at this. It's like she cut this that day or the day before and brought it right out to the market to sell. It was fresh, pre-washed, healthy, dense, and tasted good as hell. I said, man, they robbing us blind, man. They giving us the worst. Salakia, go ahead,
Oh, Connor, which is heavy, sir. I'm looking at the map. And what's heavy about the map, all of these are heavily, Black and Latino cities. Is the name of a few. Dallas, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Boston, New York, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Philadelphia.
All the cities. That's a test. All the cities get shut down at the same time. But none of the rural areas get shut down. Only in the cities. Come on, man. Come on. Who decided that? Who decided which ones would get shut off, which ones would stay on? This is a very, very, very dangerous place for the Lord's chosen. Is that it? Go ahead, Marah.
Slocky, sir, if I make the water. Slocky, sir, if I may, that just remind me of that University of Penn story with them skulls.
Yeah.
Because, brothers in the school, just like y'all encouraged to go to the doctor. So I'm in a place with in the University of Penn. I'm talking to a brother. I was talking to YAHNA, and I'm sitting there. I said, man, they didn't seen all our damn skulls. We sitting right outside the building.
Damn.
Right, because they right next door to it.
Right.
And I took a picture of it. I ain't posted to Facebook or nothing, but I'm going to. I'm like, man, I said,
you took a picture of the building.
The actual building that we did the story on.
Can you get in and see the skull? Well, they moved the skulls, I think, already.
I think so. But if I could, it was crazy because it felt like we were lab rats. Right. Like we were the experiment because they coming in talking to the brother like, oh yeah, this is, how you doing, Mr. Such and Such. Hey. But then in the back of my mind, I said, they didn't learn everything. They go to the university.
Yes.
So they just coming in there. It's like how you go buy.
They just had the skull in the
building. And this is the same thing. It reminds me of that because it's like is the experiment part.
Yeah.
It's like just like you said, like, oh, we'll just turn these off and see what happens. Like they ain't all the cities he named was all on the East Coast.
Right.
Like, well, let's just try these real quick. Right. And then we'll, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hit them all. Let's just do these. And it's crazy. It's like a giant experiment on blacks and Hispanics. And the reason why I brought up the University of Penn is because when it's like you sitting in the laboratory, they talking to you and all this, but meanwhile, you like, hold on. They didn't studied our whole inside and out.
Yes.
For hundreds of years, talking to us, knowing that that the 12 or however many college years that they spent, you know, they didn't watch these skulls sit here, they didn't look at us. You know, Joe Biden he didn't pardon some of the money, right? But they owe thousands of dollars from all these colleges to become a doctor,
right?
And meanwhile, the whole time they didn't sat there and experimented and studied and learned us. And it's the same thing with the EBT card. They know all about it. It's like you always bring out that the oppressor on EBT more than us.
Yeah,
but they make it seem like we the big, you know, the big deal,
right?
And they just playing around with us and cutting us out. Meanwhile, they ain't show none of them hick towns that's probably using more EBT than we could ever imagine.
Exactly, you right. Like their control over our life is more than you could imagine. You know what I'm saying? Like they're once again, why in the scriptures the worst thing could ever happen to you is that your people fall into captivity under another nation. And it's always been what the Lord said he was going to do if we didn't listen to him. Yeah, if you don't listen to me, you're going to get the worst beating of all. You're going to fall up under them other nations. And that used to scare the hell out of us, but we still went and became wicked and got destroyed because of it when the Lord was saying, don't you do that, because falling under another nation now, it's been half a century under these people. And in that half a century, look what has happened to us as a people. Lost every bit of identity. And like you said, Morale, when you know the truth and then you get around them, you feel like a lab rat because you know they've been studying you, studying your bones. They act like this is a new encounter. Oh, good evening, Mr. So-and-so. How are you? You know, did you make it down okay? Or, you know, can I have your medical card? But you know in your mind, this whole giant facility been studying me and my people and the skulls and the bodies and yada, yada, yada. That's why they know every medicine to give you. Nigga, lisinopril. What's that other one? Astrovac. Now they did a whole study on them different drugs. The point is they operate with us like a lab rat, like you saying. And that joint comes from years and years and years and years of having us in captivity. Go ahead, Nicole.
Sir, I want to give a shout out to Captain Taziah one. He brought it out for 2 weeks straight about the psychological warfare, and what was crazy, you know, like every time I tune into the brothers above me, you know, y'all just like drop it, you know,
most on
drop the truth, and for sure, you know, most on Christ. So like it was this guy is called the Skinner box, and like Officer Morale was saying, you know, these oppressors, they run experiments. And Captain Taziah was just explaining, like, the difference is this. When a white man goes and oppressor goes into the college and learns psychology, he's learning how to be a better oppressor. But when a black man, a Spanish American man, go inside that college, he's learning about the psychology, but he don't realize he's the lab rat.
Right.
And that when he said that, I was just my jaw. I'm panicking in my living room, like, yo, that's deep, because we are in the psychological war, and it's very, very, very important for us to really understand what is going on out here and how oppressor is being so vile.
Yeah, because he's become so good at it that you can't even see it coming. Yeah, that's how good he's gotten at it. Yeah. Give me Lamentations 2 and 20 to 22 right quick. I actually got 2 of these. Hold on. Come on with it.
If I could, sir, what was also so heavy about what y'all said about them Hamites taking away the voice, that voice will be in your people. One thing that confession is good for the soul. One thing I cannot stand that I've seen my whole life is blacks and Hispanics talk white. I hated that. I just never could get down with that. And it wasn't until I got to the school where General Mine was like, he did a class, he was like, you know, you ain't got to talk like that. I was like, See, he got a point because because you don't have to do that. But if you take away the voice, then not only would they not want to be like the oppressor models, they won't want to talk like them. They don't want to, and that's so crazy because, if I could, so I never liked that. But that is one of the things when you take away the voice of the serpent, which is one of his biggest traits is the lie. You take away his voice, then you can gain your people.
And that's why they went berserk when black people started to try to introduce ebonics. Remember when black people tried to introduce ebonics, white people went crazy. Like, how dare you try to introduce a black slang to our white language? It was like an insult that you would try to, integrate our slang into their language. It was like, it was such an egregious thing. They went crazy. They killed it in no time. It was like ridiculous. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Op.
Carnival Khan, Lamentations chapter 2 and verse 20. Behold, O Lord, and consider to whom thou hast done this.
Right. By turning our back on the Lord did this to us and let us fall. Go ahead.
Carnival Khan, shall the women eat their fruit?
Right. And Ezra asking a question. Shall the women eat their fruit? Go ahead.
Carnival Khan, and children of a span long.
Right. Should they eat the fruit of the children of a span long, the babies? You know what I mean? Which is exactly what happened to us under the Romans. Titus surrounded Jerusalem, brother, and they starved us to death. That's exactly what that experiment with that EBT card is exactly the same. Because if they would have cut that off, unless you got groceries in your house in the basement, you got cans down there, you basically gonna starve. Go ahead.
Carnival Khan, shall the priest and the prophet be slain in the sanctuary of the Lord?
Right. Our identity, what we believe in, the truth, all of that gets wiped out once you become a slave under another nation. A ton of them commercials you see about Africa help feed the Africa. You've been hearing them commercials since you was in the crib. Since you was in the crib looking through the bars, you've been seeing them help Africa commercials. And them commercials, a lot of times, them people that they advertising to help, them people are starving because they had war with another nation. And the nation they had war with is cutting their food off. So now they walking around all shriveled up, 60 pounds, and eating gruel, but they eating that gruel because this nation is not letting food come in and allow them to be fed. Go ahead, Op.
Carnival Khan, sir. Verse 21. The young and the old lie on the ground in the streets. My virgins and my young men are fallen by the sword.
See that? We're gonna be laid out. We already doing it. Homeless shelters, what do they call them? Tent cities. Yeah. We already in the streets, the young and the old. We getting laid out in this place, man, because we better return quickly to the Most High. Go ahead.
Carnival Khan, sir. Thou hast slain them in the day of thy anger.
We got slaved for turning our back on the Most High, putting another nation before ours, loving another people before our people. Go ahead, Op.
Carnival Khan, sir. Thou hast killed and not pitied. Thou hast called as in a solemn day my terrors round about.
We in terrors round about, man. The Lord called like in a solemn day, like a holiday. Like people come together for the holiday. He done brought this oppression down like a holiday. The Lord wants his people back. And he gonna punish us until we turn back to him. And then he gonna do something to the white man that gonna make you want to have mercy on him. You gonna be like, I feel sorry for him. You gonna say it, you ain't gonna mean it though. You gonna be like him in that day. You gonna be like, such a shame.
Just to be polite.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just to be polite. You know what I mean? You're right, General. Go ahead.
Carnival Khan, sir. So that in the day of the Lord's anger, none escaped, nor remained. Those that I have swallowed and brought up have my enemy consumed.
The enemy destroyed all the people that Jeremiah was trying to save and deliver. Them Babylonians slayed the hell out of us, man. And this will happen again under every empire. Slavery is the worst thing that could ever happen to you as a people. There's almost nothing more worse except maybe death itself. So that was it. That was it on that story. Where we going? Oh, give me the monkeypox. Since we all on it. Big shout out to Napataza and his team holding us down.
Honorable Khan, sir. Monkeypox cases rise in Georgia as state counts new cases among children.
And guess where they rising the most at? In Georgia. Where in Georgia? Atlanta, Georgia. Surprise, surprise. Atlanta, Georgia is one of the fastest growing monkeypox states. Atlanta, are we surprised? No. CDC tried to warn that monkeypox was hitting certain populations, mainly Black and Latino alternative lifestyle areas. And now the case is rising in Georgia. Keep going.
Honorable Khan, sir. Georgia is now reporting a total of 3 confirmed cases of monkeypox in children amid an overall rise in cases in the state.
Overall rise in cases. Now they got 3 kids got it. That's the worst part about this here. This monkeypox right here, children getting it is hell. Hell on earth. Go ahead.
Honorable Khan, sir. The latest Department of Health numbers show Georgia with over 1,200 and 200, with over 1,200 total confirmed cases. Almost all cases continue to be among men who have sex with men.
Oh yeah. It's costly to be gay these days. It's costly to be gay these days.
They love to adopt children.
Yeah.
And they love to kiss on them children. There you go.
Yeah. That's hell. Go ahead,
Honorable Khan. And Black people.
That's why when y'all was coming home, we stopped at the rest stop. Y'all went inside, and some sodomite was trying to get Cabal's order. You know, General Q, he about health. He saw that. He saw that sodomite and almost lost it.
Go ahead. He ordered a chicken sandwich from Burger King. He said no lettuce. He turned to me. He said, "You know, the news said that lettuce has certain germs on it." And then the sodomite came up and said, "Did you want a straw in a bag?" And the boss said, "He's like that." He said, I said, "Yeah, give him the straw, brother. Give him the straw." He said, "What about sauces? Did you make sauce?" The boss said, I said, "Yeah, man, give me them sauces." The ball couldn't even talk. It was just, in his mind, this food is tainted. The whole thing is gonna be
monkeypox sandwich.
He was worried about the lettuce, let alone this nigga touching your chicken sandwich.
God, you know the Q don't play that at all. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, big shout out to General Bob. Man. Go ahead, some more.
Honorable Khan, sir. And Black people are disproportionately affected by the outbreak in Georgia.
Black people are disproportionately affected. So Black homosexual men are getting the monkeypox in great numbers in Atlanta, Georgia. Go ahead, General Slaughter.
You know, remember they had that commercial, right? What's that commercial they had out there? With some sort of medicine to where they said now they can't tell, the AIDS virus in your body. They can't, tell a cancer cell. Yeah. Well, guess what? You try to say, okay, now you can still be and live your best life, and nobody know you got the AIDS virus. The Lord gave you monkeypox now. Right. You can't get around going against the Lord's laws. Like y'all playing games and trying to feed your lust and your evil, man. And the Lord is calling you on it. Yeah. You want to sit up and say, okay, now I take this medicine now, right, get around me, and now you can't count my cells in my body. Okay, all right. Lord said, okay, you think you're slick? Here come the monkeypox. You understand? Now everybody gonna know you got it because they're gonna see you with the monkeypox.
That's right.
You understand? Like the Lord ain't no game, man. He ain't no joke. He wants you to turn from your sin. The Bible says, the Lord said, amend your ways. Because if you amend your ways, he's going to stop the evil he got pronounced against you. Amend your ways, man. But you want to continue in your lust and your evil, and the Lord calling you on it. To where now, he is so bad to where now you see now, kids getting it. Because of these so-called parents out here who live in alternative lifestyles, you pass that on down to these kids. You better amend your ways like the Bible says. The Lord said if you stop, he'll stop. But if you don't, you will catch the hell that come from the Lord. And that wrath come from the Most High.
If I could. And also, I know we talked about it a while back, how that Big Tarvey. That's the new age medicine. Big Tarvey. It start with never change how you live. It's something like that. Like be you. Do this. And I'm like, what is this about? Big Tarvey. You can you take it and it'll bring your count down so low you can't even pass AIDS no more. It was like a victory for homos, the homosexual. It was like their victory, and the Lord see it and it pisses him off. And like General brought out, what you think you conquer something, the Lord just sent you his big brother. You know what I'm saying? he just sent you something strong. That's one quick thing. I'm going to say one quick thing.
And whenever I hear about this monkeypox story and the HIV story, I just wonder why gay people, homosexuals, aren't just less emotional and just logical about AIDS. In that, you know how many things people do that people decide are unhealthy and you have to stop. Right. Trans fats, eating too much of this, drinking too much of that. People cut things out of their diets and lifestyles all the time that they enjoy. People enjoy, you hear about it constantly.
Yeah. Ice cream,
fast food, right? Fried chicken, right? If you're avoiding trans fats and carbs, but you're gay, that's the point I don't get. You think you would just stop like you give up ramen noodles, right? Because of the high sodium, right? The high sodium. Yeah. You enjoy it. Right. It tastes good. Ramen noodles. The fried chicken, the fatty foods, but you know that it's bad for you. Like, I don't get if you can give up that and you enjoy it, why don't you understand you got to give up this? You got to give up gay sex for the same reason you have to give up trans fats, McDonald's French fries, and other unhealthy things.
You can't drink too much.
I don't know.
You can't get high. You got to put
cigarettes.
Cigarettes.
It's all kinds of stuff that people every day say, yes, you enjoy it. Yes, you like it, but it's bad for you. Being gay is bad for you. Go ahead. I can't do them. I don't even really understand it. It's a lot. Go ahead.
If I could say what General Hyman was breaking down so heavy, it just hit me. You know what I mean? They'll tell you got to get ahead of that diabetes. You got to watch your sugar intake.
But the sugar and the sodas and all this stuff you got to be worried about and cut out of your diet. Yeah. But not gay sex.
Good night. Insane. Damn right. Is there more on that?
That was pretty much all. I'm holding the BYU story.
Okay, before you go to the BYU, can I get a script on that for y'all? To get into, give me Exodus. Did I read Exodus 9 and 8? Give me Exodus 9, 8 to 10 real quick. Because, of course, this happened. For those of you that may not know, this happened, of course, in ancient Egypt where, the Lord hit us with some plagues, or rather hit the Egyptians with some plagues. And those of us that wanted to be a part of the Egyptians. Go ahead, real quick.
Colonel Khan, sir. Exodus chapter 9 and verse 8. And the Lord said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it towards the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt.
Good night. It was like boils broke out, and then it says with blains, which means the boil come out, and then it get little like watery pus bubbles on it, and them pus bubbles pop, and it's like blisters. It's damn near like it swell up, and then you get blisters. It damn near the archaeologists describe it as almost like a elephantitis with blisters on it. So it's like you get a big ass boil on your face, and then you got blisters on the boil, and them blisters be popping and burning and stinging. It was a horrible, horrible thing happening in ancient Egypt. When they dug up them bodies, they said, "Oh shit,
no." Stuff like that. The Lord always seemed to make it stink. Probably have a smell.
Yes,
to it,
yes. They said it. They said it. One of the translations by the Greeks who looked it up called it the stinker something, the stinker growth or something like that, where it smelled as it grew. I mean, it was a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. Go ahead,
Verse 10. And they took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it towards heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beasts. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils.
Damn, the Egyptians could not stand before Moses. The magicians, it said, or the Egyptians? The magicians, all his wise men who were supposed to be, these were like the men that were supposed to be able to challenge Moses. And them cats could not challenge Moses because the blains, the blisters all over. You know what I mean? And man, and boy, y'all better repent, because if you having homosexual sex and you get that thing in the behind, when them blisters come up, you going into hell. You don't have to be on you're gonna have to be on morphine or something to stop the pain. Go ahead,
Khan, sir. For the boil was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians.
It was on everybody out there. They couldn't even come before Moses. Man. And listen, and that was some cold stuff the Lord did, because he had Moses do it in front of Pharaoh. That was one of them plays he did right in front of Pharaoh with that dust and poison all of them, and like, yo, what you gonna do? And they caught it bad right in front of him. You know what I'm saying? By the hand of the Most High. Go ahead. You got more? What verse you at? Take it to 10.
Oh, I just read 11.
Oh, okay. So we done on that. All right. Make sure you good on this video,
Exodus 9 and 8.
Okay.
Say
it. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Come. No sweat. The water. Where we going? You pulling one?
No, I was saving it.
Okay, come. Go ahead. Please get down.
I won't be too long, sir.
Get down.
If I could, I just wanted to go back to what you said. So I don't know if y'all remember this video of this brother saying he wasn't gay no more, going to the church.
No, but go ahead.
So I'm gonna play it.
Go ahead.
It's like you always bring out. So the Christian church is to blame for these monkeypox, because they ain't stopped homosexuality at all.
That's right.
If I could, sir, I just want to say it again, sir.
They promoted it.
They promoted it. I remember in an interview you said that in a debate where you crushed. You said that, and you know nobody could contest that. If I could, sir, I just want to play it.
Do you believe that the Lord tonight has set you free?
Yes, sir.
Turn around and tell those people.
Tell them.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. I will love a woman. Now listen, y'all praise God with him. Hold on, wait a minute. Somebody believe.
If I could, sir. If I could.
Go ahead.
That's the problem with the Christian church.
Yes.
That brother,
the whole religion, even him repenting for being gay, is a gay way to do it. It's still a hammer. I mean, he did the whole neck, the whole black woman neck jerk, the whole chicken jerk, the whole.
Yeah. And I think he said men's.
He said men's. You know what I mean? Like, even coming out of it, it's a gay coming out of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's hard to escape, man. You know what I mean? Oh, man.
And that's all the blame of the Christian church. Because how you gonna tell them now at Shalaki? They have not stopped saying that. They have not stopped promoting homosexuality at all.
No.
And I mean,
You mean they having a war right now in the Methodist Church? 43 more churches broke off from the Methodist Church because the Methodist Church is trying to adopt some stance with accepting homosexual. 90 of them left. No, 79 of them left already. Then 43 of them tried to break off, and they tried to hold them back because they worried about them all leaving now. And so they tried to hold them back, and the Methodist Church went and suing them now in court to break away from them because they don't want to be a part of it because they're allowing homosexuals to come in, and them groups don't want them to come in. You know what I mean? Like the Bible ain't lie. It's a clear path on what the Lord wants and what he does not want. The problem is the empire, once again, when you're in slavery, the empire decides what you should and shouldn't like. When Moses told Pharaoh, you know, let the Lord's children people go and worship the Lord 3 days, Pharaoh just decided you just want to do that because you're being lazy. You ain't working hard enough. Like how he get to decide whether or not you should or should not serve the Lord? Because he's the one oppressing the hell out of you. You know what I mean? And then if you press the issue like we did, then he turned around and said, now make bricks without straw, make our life harder. It's like they decide. You understand who you gonna worship. Now remember now, Egypt, when they dug Egypt up, Egypt had all kinds of gods in Egypt.
Right.
I mean, every kind of god, the hippo god, the beetle god, the crocodile god, the Anubis god, the god of the underworld, Horus, the hawk, and all these gods they had. Go ahead, Marah.
Okay, sir. Captain Cesario brought out the god who sucked his own, you know.
Right, right. The rod-sucking god and every other god. They got all these gods, you understand, that they was worshiping, but the minute we decided we were going to worship the Lord, then it was a problem. And it's still a problem to this day because they don't, believe me, they've studied us. They got books out and all that. They've studied the Israelites. They studied everything about us, and they understand that us finding our way back to the truth means the end of their empire by the hand of the Lord. So they don't want you going back to the truth. They don't mind you being a Muslim, a Christian, what's them other gods? A Buddhist, a Hinduist. They don't mind you being them gods, but finding out you the Lord's chosen people, they ain't trying to hear that. That God, they don't want you worshiping. And Pharaoh decided it too. How the hell they decide? The Lord is the one that decides.
Yes, sir.
And is why he's plaguing this place, man, and going to do damage on this place. You know what I mean? Through his power. Go ahead, gentlemen. Come right back.
Like the Most High said this here, man, through the prophets of the Lord. And he told Paul said, the things written aforetime before your learning. You're going to learn from the stuff in the Old Testament. You learn in church that the Old Testament don't really mean nothing. It's just fairy tales, right? Well, that's a lie. If it didn't mean, then why did Paul say you're going to learn from the Old Testament, man? Well, Moses said this in the book of Deuteronomy. Choose you this day, life or death. Which one you want? If you do what the Lord say do, you're going to have life. But if you go against what he say, you're going to have death. And death is a horrible way from the Most High. You got to make a choice on how you're going to serve the Lord. And you make it like it's so hard when it's not hard. The Lord say, don't do this, means you don't do it. He say, do it, means you do it. And that's it. It's simple, man. It's simple. It ain't really hard. One thing you got to learn now is learn how to be disciplined and fight them lusts that's inside of your body. You understand me? And do what the Most High say do. Choose you this day, life by following the Lord's commandments or death by being disobedient. And we done got a lot of death in this land called America, man.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of death in this land. But it's why we got that damn monkeypox and AIDS and all these things going on right now. You better flip it and amend and choose what the Lord gave us to choose, man.
Damn right. Ain't no Salaki. That was right on time.
Right. Damn
Yeah,
right.
man, give it up. Hey, priest and officer Hazahab said, you know they lying because don't no Christian church cast out no demons.
Right.
Good point. Good point. All right. You die. We got time for one more. Let's go. Where
Kind
we
of
going next?
Kind of a concert. BYU bans a fan who yelled a racist slur at a black volleyball player on Duke's team. College Valley.
Go ahead.
Come.
And what's Brigham? That's Brigham Young University, y'all. What is Brigham Young University known for? Anybody know? They're the Mormons, that's right. And the Mormon Church believes that blacks did not join the war on God's side, so He gave us black skin. Once again, all they religions, we losers. We losers and failures and cowards and everything else in all they damn religions, man. Go ahead, General.
I was just talking about that, General. And there's a video out, my rib told me, a skit about the Mormons and that fight, that war.
Yeah.
And the people that joined, the guy came up. First of all, the Mormon ran up and said, "We need you for this battle." And the guy was dirty and dark looking and looking crazy. And they said, "Okay, we'll help you fight." And all of them that helped fight became white and beautiful with blonde hair. And
that's from the UPK, that video.
Oh, yeah?
That's from the UPK out of Harlem. That video came out in the 90s.
God.
Dang.
We used to have it on VHS tape.
Damn.
Y'all brothers in New York had this tape, and it had that sketch that was put out by the Mormons. We used to push that all the time. That was back in the early 90s.
To show that they was racist.
To show they were racist.
And so they would get
and now it's all on YouTube. But that tape is from the UPK making that tape.
Off of their tape.
Bingo.
Since back then, oh my God.
Got it to one gun.
And they turned white. What happened next?
If you helped them, you became an Edomite, beautiful, wonderful. But again, if you didn't, you was cursed with the dark skin.
It showed it in the tape.
Gun.
Amazing. And so, of course,
are they the ones that say there's feces under our skin? Is that the same thing or something else?
No, that's Darwin.
Okay, good.
Like imagine that. Brigham Young University, a white racist university built on the religion of racism against the Lord's chosen people. Going to turn around now and let's read a little of the story while we got another minute. I think we got 1 minute. I'm gonna let you finish with that. Make a couple
Connor Wakan, sir. College volleyball's opening weekend ended with a fan being banned from the Brigham Young University's athletic facilities. Statements expressing regret from 2 universities and the governor of Utah after a black player on the Duke's volleyball team faced racist slurs during a game in Provo, Utah.
One player. Go ahead.
You've been reading our scrolls.
Sir. The Duke volleyball team included starter Rachel Richardson, a sophomore from Elliott City, Maryland, had traveled to Utah to participate in a multi-day tournament at BYU Smith Fieldhouse. There, during a Friday match against BYU, Richardson and other black Duke players were targeted by racially heckled throughout the entire match. Richardson said in a statement on Sunday.
Go ahead.
The slurs and comments grew into threats, which caused us to feel unsafe. As a result, my teammates and I had to struggle just to get through the rest of the game, she added. Previously, the incident gained attention from a Twitter post by Lisa Pamplin, a Texas-based attorney and Richardson's grandmother, it's like a godmother, who said Richardson was also called a racist slur every time she served.
She went and served. Every time she served, she was a racial slur. And then they call them racial slurs. But give me some more, because in the story, they talk about how Brigham Young University didn't do nothing until they went and called the cops. Read on.
Connor Wakan, sir. She was threatened by a white male that told her to watch her back going to the team bus. After Duke's players complained.
I mean, they threatened us with bodily harm. Go ahead. After what?
Connor Wakan. After Duke players complained, a police officer was positioned near the Duke bench for the rest of the match, according to Richardson's father.
They had to call the cops to let them finish the game.
Well, they could have just kicked him out.
Right. Go ahead.
Connor Wakan. Marvin Richardson expressed his disappointment that BYU's officials had not done nothing.
Brigham Young University, them white supremacists, they sat up there and didn't do nothing. To them, it was normal that this cat is yelling racial slurs at us. Go ahead. Which, once again, let's say it again.
Y'all
okay. You gotta give me come on, work with me on this one, Warrior. 30 seconds, I'm gonna be out your way, Marah. Marah, ready? Get me the hell out the way. I'm coming, Marah. I'm coming. Like You would think this is once again why it's so goddamn evil that we lost the Negro Leagues. Yeah. We lost the damn Negro Leagues, man. Right. All that we had, we lost thinking we was going to gain more by getting with these Edomites, and now we don't have nothing. Now you got to go to their university to get any real recognition. Yep. Right or wrong? And that's why they hate Deion Sanders. He's trying to bring some of that recognition back to black schools where you ain't got to go beg Whitey to be recognized. But the ones that want to be great, they got to now go to Duke, who got a history of being racist, and then you got to play against Brigham Young, who ain't nothing but racist based on their religion. Go ahead. Salaki to Salaki on that.
Kawakana says, why wasn't the fan removed after the notification was made to the officials and the coaching staff was made aware? Why wasn't something done then? Rachel Richardson told BYU officials were made aware of the incident during the game, but failed to take necessary steps to stop the unprofessional behavior.
They didn't give a damn. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Mr. Watson, Colonel Wakan, and create a safe environment.
If I can say one thing, and that's something that even in these last days has begun to change. But sir, all my life growing up, racism, black people were not taught to react like that to racism. We were taught to ignore it.
That's right.
I remember that so specifically.
That's right.
You were never taught to get them kicked out.
That's right.
Or to stop them. If somebody called you a nigger, it was like training.
Yeah.
You were taught to do what they did with this girl.
Right.
And Duke and Brigham Young just did what was acceptable about 5 years ago.
That's true.
Which is he's calling you a nigger, you take the high road. You be the better person. Yeah. When they go low, you go high. About 5 years ago, that was what Judites were all taught.
I think you're right. You know what I mean? Michelle Obama coined that term. When they go low, you go high. They don't went real low. They damn near burned the Capitol down.
I think so.
You know what I mean? I think it's about time somebody get low with them. You trying to go high, they burning the empire down. You know what I mean?
I can't stop him. I'm a man.
You know what I mean? You better get the FBI and the Coast Guard or whoever. Get somebody to know how to go low. You done went high all the way out the damn zone. Yeah, this is a joke. Hey, join us every Monday night. We do it up live. Pay your tithes, ISUPK.com. Support this truth. It is your obligation. Want to thank the heavy hitters in the building. General Muhammad, General Mayak, General Hazayan. Want to thank Marah and his team for always holding us down. Yadiah, Ibad, got Nakar in here. And the young officer, what's your name again, Warrior? Huh? Kalatas are in the building with us, man. Doing it up. I'll see y'all next time live on the UPK, fam. Shalom. Let me know when we all.
Y'all something. David was an amazing, mighty man for the children of Israel. And you white Jews scrolls for years. You know what I'm saying is the truth. Let's read about David and let's let David show us why we got so much crime in New York City. Why there's so much suffering of blacks and Latinos in New York City. Do you really want to know the answer? Let's go get in it now. Tell them where you at.
1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 2. And there was a man in Mon whose possessions were in Carmel. And the man was very great. And he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats.
Let me tell you something. This man that David encountered, this man was rich. Just like New York City is. You see how you look around New York City? You know how much it costs just to change the light bulbs in some of these big billboards? Thousands of dollars, man. For them to bring a truck here and raise a ladder and change them lights so that every light in the city works down here, it costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know why they pay it? Because New York City is rich. Even though you're poor, even though you're suffering, New York City is one of the richest cities in the world. So now, if that's not, now, wait a minute. If New York City's so rich, why are the people so poor and so suffering? Let me explain to you why. David encountered a rich man the same way you've encountered this rich city, New York. And here's what he experienced, because you're experiencing the same thing. and you falling for the same trap. Let's read.
And he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding.
She was a woman of good understanding. He was not a woman of good understanding. He was not a man of good understanding. But she was a woman of good understanding. This was not a stupid woman. This was a smart woman. Let's read some more.
And of beautiful countenance, but the man was a churlish and evil in his doing.
You hear that? God said through David that this man was an evil man. This city right here that you living in New York, that you think is so wonderful, that you believe God is in the great Broadway, the great wonderful city. I'm gonna break your heart today. This is a very, very evil city, man. This city is run by evil, wicked men. And those evil, wicked men do very evil things to the people in this city. That's why the homeless rate is running out amok. I'm going to read it for you out the Bible. See, here's what you brothers don't understand. You blacks and Latino brothers, you don't understand that the Bible is a black book. That these is niggas you reading about in the Bible. That's right. You've been thinking all this time you reading about white people. These is Puerto Ricans in the Bible. Did you wait a minute? Hold it now. I'm in New York City, where all knowledge is at. How many of you Latinos knew that Puerto Ricans are in the Bible? That they in the history of the Bible? How many of you knew that Joseph, you remember the story of Joseph in Egypt? How many of you know that Joseph was a Puerto Rican? You don't even know your own history, Latinos, Boricua, Taino. You don't even know your own brother here, no? There you go. There's one brother that knows. Give it up for this brother right here. That's right. He knows. You don't even know that Puerto Ricans are in the Bible. That one of the greatest Puerto Ricans that ever lived explored this land 4,000 years ago. His name was Joseph, man. Okay, y'all was sopped in the Hebrew, correct? Read.
And he was of the house of Caleb. And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And David sent out 10 young men. And David said unto the young men, get you up to Carmel, and go to Nabal, and greet him in my name. And thus shall ye say to him that liveth in prosperity, peace be both to thee, and peace be to thine house.
You hear what David said? David said, look, David was in the mountains running from Saul, an evil king. And Saul was trying to kill David. And David and his men was in this mountain trying to survive, trying to feed themselves like you do every day. You get up every morning and go to these jobs trying to survive, trying to pay your bill, trying to be right with your woman, trying to be a civil citizen, man. That's what David was trying to do. But evil men ruled the damn city, man. And those evil men turned around and did evil to the people in them cities, man. And they did this to David as well. But David did what a lot of you brothers do. And I'm going to show it to you now. Come on.
And peace be unto all that thou hast. And now I have heard that thou hast shearers. Now thy shepherds which were with us, we hurt them not, neither were we aught missing unto them.
You hear what David told this rich man? David said, yo, I'm greeting you because I want you to know I'm in need right now. But I took care of your sheep. I watched over your property. I took care of you. That's what you did in this city, man. Black people and Latino people, you worked the menial jobs in this city. You drove the buses. You cleaned the streets. You sold the vegetables. You did all the things that they asked you to do in these streets, and they turned their back on you in New York City, man. I'm going to hit you with something. Certain parts of this city, and I'm going to read it today in the history record. Certain parts of this city were founded by black people, man. Certain parts of this city was established by black people. And we got the history records, and of course, all those records have been hid from you. You know why? So they can treat you like a slave.